History has been made with the 2011 round of Sweden. It is the first temporary circuit that the TM Master Cup Series has raced on since it supported the V8 Champ Car Series at the Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland in 1992. Also, Alexis Rainsford missed all of the practice and qualification sessions because she wasn't even in the country. She was in Indianapolis doing rookie tests for the Indy 500. And for those who are interested, from what I can tell, she's doing a very good job. On this side of the pond, Esko Koskela practiced car number 1. The car did not participate in qualifying, and Alexis Rainsford will start 39th on the grid. She's starting 39th and not 41st because the two Rick Milligan cars of Ethan Everett and Bobby Porteau both had their times wiped because their cars were too low in post-qualifying inspection, and they will start 40th and 41st. Everett will start 41st on the grid because his time was slower than Porteau's. I've gone over long, so Dan, off to you. Thank you, Lance. Taking out the Delano Pole Award in car number 4 is Leonard Roderick in the Flash Racing Inglesby M-Type. On the outside of the front row, his teammate Arto Kakinen in the 14 car, third on the grid. In car 45 is Michael Sykes, an impressive qualifying effort from the Welshman, his best ever, and Zelda Ashby in car 55 for the Juno makes up the first two rows. Coming into the first turn, Roderick has a great lead on Arto Kakinen, and it looks like Michael Sykes goes a little bit wide. Marcus Leonard goes even wider in car 999, and Leonard already way out wide. He's in the grass. I think there may have been contact with car 2. You can see Avery Holtzman and Adrian Devereaux have already taken a couple shots at each other. They're 4 wide back there, and on a track this narrow, that can't lead to good things. There is Holtzman and Devereaux still taking shots at each other. Here's Alan Hodge trying to make a pass. He clears Kurt Pliskin almost, but Pliskin hooks the 13 car. They both go off the track, and they go out of the race. Delgado is off in the 837. The points leader in trouble. Carlos Donzello in car 43. Tony Durbin, car 33. There goes Donzello, rolling several times in his Tutino. However, he would crawl out of that car before it would get craned off the track. Donzello would go out of the race. Durbin continues on. There goes Delgado, got hooked by Morgan Hamburg, Independence Trophy contender. He hits that wall so hard it causes a suspension failure on the right side. He goes out. Bobby Porteau and Mikhail Polyakov making contact. Here's two debutants, Stefan Helveri, car 20, Axel Andersson, car 42. They hook each other. They both go off the track, and that would mean an early exit for Stefan Helveri. However, Andersson would continue on. Gasper de Souza, car 40, was collected in that schmozzle down there in that really fast chicane. It doesn't look like it's affected him too much. Here's Mike Whitmore trying to pass Independence Trophy contender Nils Talonen. They hook each other, and Talonen goes buried into the tires. He hits the tires, and the rear wheel got hit by Whitmore, and it just ramped underneath the 36 car, and that's why the 22 car was stuck at that precarious angle. They thought about bringing out the red flag for this, but since this track is so long, Talonen was able to get that car down off the tires quickly enough before the leaders came by again. Roderick with a pretty impressive lead after the first lap. Roderick is really charging because he knows there are some cars further back that are a lot quicker than he is, most notably Zach Duff in car 2, Marcus Leonard, car 999. Kurt Pliskin, one of his main threats, was eliminated in the first lap. Alexis Rainsford started in 39th place. After the first lap, she's 22nd. I think she's going to be into the points after this pass on Davina Henton in the 29 and Yelena Sova. Hello, Sandtrap. There goes Bobby Porteau, who started dead last in the grid in 41st. There are only 3 Independence Trophy contenders entered in this race. One of them, Nils Stallone in car 22, is already out. Here's Bobby Porteau trying a little bit of rallycross. Maybe if he wants to end his stock car career right now, he can go have a future in rallycross, because that seems to be a really good move. Comes into the hairpin. Oh, he doesn't exactly have the traction coming off the hairpin, and that's going to give Alexis Rainsford a great run off the corner, and Mikhail Polyakov in that number 24 car. Welcome back, Mikhail, by the way. There goes de Souza on the inside as Porteau continues to test the sand traps. Interesting lines around here. Avery Holtzman, car 95, has already been protested by Adrian Devereaux for some little contact in the first lap, which Devereaux got the better of him for. Here's the third of the Independence Trophy contenders, the two Fintex and Morgan Hamburg, who was very close to winning the Independence Trophy last year. Matthias Taub is the hometown favorite, and not exactly giving the home crowd cheer much about. However, he is running inside the points, which, if you've seen the Lennard R37 running in the back like I have most of the time, or blowing up, looks like a pretty promising start from Taub. I think he's been looking for a lot more this season, and I think that team has too. They got their first points last week, a couple weeks ago in Great Britain, so we're going to have to see if there's more from Taub today. Charlie Waters is running in 11th place. He's been very inconsistent, but he appears to have the speed. However, stringing multiple good finishes together seems to be a bit of a problem for him at the moment. However, he is outpacing Scott Bates at this stage of the year, which is very difficult to do, as Scott Bates outpaced Anthony Evans and Ian Cooper, two both proven winners last year. Duff is in 9th, Zach Duff, car 2, in 9th place. He was fastest in all the practices, but when it mattered in qualifying, the Volpe simply didn't have the speed. The team admitted that having Esko Koskela in car number 1 was very helpful in the practice sessions. However, it does look like they seem to miss it on their qualifying setup. So Duff is going to be mired back in traffic, and on this course, it looks like qualifying is going to be very important here. Ethan Everett, car 11, and Alexis Rainsford in car 1, working their way through traffic. They're getting around Morgan Hamburg, and he is sitting, I think, around 19th place. Here is Zelda Ashby in car number 55. This is a great run for the Juno. It looks like they may be in contention for their first podium. First round of pit stops on the end of lap 9. Mika Turvo in car 12 pitted a lap early. He's another Independence Trophy contender, the second of the FinTech cars, the only one of them left. Well, everyone pitted on this lap, except for the aforementioned Turvo and Tony Durbin in car 33, who rolled the dice after going off the course. He gets into a little bit of contact with Scott Bates in the 88, who's just pitted. Durbin, of course, went into the sand trap, so he's way down the order when everything cycles out. Durbin having a miserable year. He's only got 1 point in 34th in the championship. 5 races in, or 4 races in. Who would have predicted that? That Tony Durbin would be this far back. Here's Zach Duff coming behind him in car number 2. He did not have a good... Oh, Duff hooks Durbin! Durbin's off the road in the 33 car, and he's hard into the tires. It's going to be another race. No points for Durbin. He's out. This on the round of pit stops. Contact between Polyakov and Rainsford's crews. See the graphic there. Zach Duff, as I mentioned earlier, had a disastrous pit stop. That's why he came out as far back as he did. And that's what got him into a position to make contact with Tony Durbin in the first place. Franz Redlich in the 94. Also, a horrendous pit stop from the Gessler crew, and Redlich's not had many good results. However, he has had several very strong runs in this 94 car. Back up front, Leonid Roderick is still in the lead. Arto Kekkonen, a fairly distant second. As you see the rest of the cars in the running order tick up, you'll notice Avery Holtzman is up to 5th place. Adrian Devereaux has dropped all the way to 8th, so not a good stop from the Hodges Walter crew. Luciano Savoral, a strong start to the race, up in 9th. Lewis Kingston fought his way up to 11th on the start. Davina Henton in car number 29 is currently running in 19th. That's a great effort from Henton. I don't think they took tires on that stop, though, so I don't think this is going to really last. I think this was kind of a crapshoot from that team to keep Henton out on older tires in hopes of getting track position, because passing seems to be a little bit hard. However, as you saw right there, if a car is much slower than you are, it doesn't look like it's going to be very hard to get around him, as Morgan Hamburg just blows by Henton as if she wasn't even there. Henton's done a good job in this car so far this year. However, rumors are that Henton may not be in this car much longer because simply the team can't afford to keep her, because finances on that team are very tight. Mikhail Polyakov in car 24 and Franz Redlich have a little bit of contact. Polyakov tries some rallycross. He doesn't give up easy. However, that's the kind of fighting spirit we need. However, he wasn't going to maintain that spot anyway. Ethan Everett and Alexis Rainsford, 2 of the cars that started at the back of the grid, are running 14th and 15th respectively. I should note that these 2 drivers aren't exactly the best of friends either. So this might heat up just a little bit. Ethan Everett in particular needs a strong run because there's been some rumors that the team isn't terribly happy with him. Bobby Porto is running in 16th place, right behind this group. He's had a fairly good run, seeing as these are his first few Master Cup starts. Roderick still holds a very commanding lead. Arto Kekkonen and his teammate runs a somewhat distant second. There's a lot of people in the crowd cheering for Arto. He's somewhat of a hometown hero. He's from Finland, but which isn't terribly far from here. Michael Sykes, this is a career drive in car 45 in running in 3rd place in a team that really we were surprised got a slot on the Master Cup Series full-time list. Sykesy having a fantastic run, along with Zelda Ashby running in 4th. Ashby's lone Master Cup Series win also came on a fairly tight road course. In the only time the Master Cup Series visited Estoril, Ashby came out on top. And you saw Avery Holtzman running in 6th. Whoa! He lost the rear end of that car big time. Holtzman trying very hard in the Gessler. However, all of the mistakes he appears to be making are costing him as much time as they're costing him a lot of time, because that Gessler is a really fast car. Here's Yamino Tenchi, the only one of the motos still in the race after Tom Delgado crashed out after the first lap due to suspension failure, and suspension failures took him out. On board, the only one of the Power Steering Incorporated cars left, the Zurich Energy 999 of Marcus Leonard. He's having another strong run inside the top 10. Adrien Devereaux sits in 8th place. The Frenchman having a fairly quiet run. He's not been quiet in the press. In Britain, he complained about back markers, and he's already complained about Avery Holtzman's driving on the first lap. Luciano Salvarol, an impressive 9th for the Brazilian. Once he gets the hang of Master Cup Series cars, watch out. And Lewis Kingston in car number 44. He is soldiering on in what is a somewhat difficult Juno. However, they've got a fairly solid engine program, and the Owen DeGarmo team looks like they're making strides. I would look out for the Juno, and I won't be surprised if the Juno wins before the end of the year. Charlie Waters in car number 10 has been a podium threat on a couple of occasions. He's currently running 11th. His teammate Scott Bates is dropped back a little bit after a poor pit stop. Robert Dorian is 12th. Woody Watts is 13th. I don't think the team is terribly happy with Watts. I don't know why, however. Luciano Salvarol's bad luck streak continues after he starts leaking fluid all over the racetrack, and it turns out that he slows on the track. Some cars, including Alexis Rainsford, were power sliding, according to the telemetry, just to get through that fluid he dropped on the track. Yamino Tenchi pits a little bit early, along with Lewis Kingston in car number 44. Ethan Everett and his teammate both bite the bullet and pit a little early, but then this happens. Bobby Porto and Ethan Everett contact in the pit lane. Wow, that was a little early to be entering your pit stop. Leon Kennison in 24th place also pits on lap 18 with those other cars. And here we are on board with Avery Holtzman trying to make a move around Michael Sykes in the 45. Ashby, I believe, he's already gotten around Ashby. He's making a move on the Welshman, but Michael Sykes is not willing to give up. We saw these two drivers go at it in Great Britain with great crowd fanfare. Here's everyone pitting on lap 19. Michael Sykes, by the way, did win that battle with Avery Holtzman. Looks like Holtzman eventually got him, but not coming off that turn. You see everyone else pitting on what should be their final stop of the race. Leonid Roderick in car number 4 still in the lead, with Arto Kekkonen still in second. The Inglesbys have been completely running away with this one. Looks like the Gessler crew did a good job for Holtzman, got him out in front of Yamino Tenchi. Michael Sykes has fallen back to 5th place. Zelda Ashby 6th. You look back, Lewis Kingston, Adrien Devereaux still hanging on to the edge of the top 10. Marcus Leonard, another solid run for the Canadian. Charlie Waters moved up to 10th in the EFR Journey LSX. Good run for Charlie, and a great run for Leonid Roderick, who has led every single lap of the race so far and sat on the pole. This is the kind of drive that we've known Roderick for in the past. Adrien Devereaux has not had very good pit work this race, and I don't think he's terribly happy about it, but at least he's not been complaining about it on the radio. Kind of not a good thing to bash your own team. He's going around Marcus Leonard in the first turn, and he's trying to make the move stick. However, Leonard's got the extra power on the outside. Those engines in the PSI cars are fairly strong. His ex-teammate Zelda Ashby almost loses the back end, almost wipes both of them out. Devereaux sneaks around Ashby with another opportunistic move that we've known Devereaux for, to kind of pounce on someone when they make a mistake. Be right there waiting. And Marcus Leonard in the 999. Here is Devereaux, but he's going to make a bit of a mistake of his own as he goes off into the sand trap, loses that ground to Ashby. Now, here's Avery Holtzman, who's really on a charge as the Englishman has caught up to Arto Kekkonen. I really get the feeling it's only a matter of time before Holtzman snags his first Master Cup win. He has been phenomenal this season in that Gessler, which is admittedly a very fast car. Yulia Nasova has worked her way up to 18th place on pit strategy. I don't think it's working out too well. She crossed the line in 18th, but right now she's going to be 20th after this. Johans and Taub go by her, are going to go by Nasova. The very slow Katsev They're doing everything they can to get points for this car, even if that means pit strategy. And looks like Nasova's trying to hang on, but she's just holding up other cars at this rate. Anyway, a little bit further up, this is Matthias Taub in car 37, hanging around on the outside of the points. It really appears to be the best he can get out of today. Like I said earlier, the Lennard R37 isn't the best car out there, and I don't think Lennard is terribly happy with what they've churned up. Both the Xenos cars, Robert Dorian and Scott Hamilton, have been getting excellent pit work, and they're both running well inside the points. So Xenos, who hasn't had too much to smile about in their maiden Master Cup season, looks like they will have something to smile about. Alexis Rainsford, by the way, has worked her way all the way up to 9th, from last on the grid, despite not even turning a lap on this track until this morning. Wow, that is impressive. Anyway, Leonid Roderick in car number 4 would pretty much not have any, there wouldn't be any competition to catch Roderick because Arto Kekkonen was too busy trying to fend off Avery Holtzman to make a charge of his teammate, so Leonid Roderick took home his first win of 2011 with Arto Kekkonen in tow. Holtzman completes the podium with a solid third-place run. Arto Kekkonen's defensive driving kept the faster Gessler at bay. Michael Sykes, a career run. Best finish for Michael Sykes in 4th place. Well done for him. Marcus Leonard, 5th. Adrian Devereaux, a strong 6th. I'm pretty sure he was just looking for good points day today. Zelda Ashby in 7th. Charlie Waters, a great run in 8th. Alexis Rainsford, a fantastic run, seeing as she started in the back of the field and didn't really have too much running time on this track. Actually, she had none before today. Woody Watts in car number 6 comes home in 10th place. I get the feeling that the battle between Woody Watts and Luciano Salvaral would be hugely in the Brazilian's favor if he could just buy a little bit of luck. Woody Watts, though, doing a good job to claim 10th place. Yumino Tenchi in 11th, Lewis Kingston 12th, Robert Dorian and Scott Hamilton 13th and 14th. I'm pretty sure the guys at Xenos are going to be thrilled with this result because that is a new car. Scott Stoidler, a very quiet 15th place for him. Gaspar de Souza, 2nd, 16th place in a row. Despite being involved in that first lap schmozzle, he did a great job at recovering, and it was overall a great day for Bill Barclay Racing. Jacques Bouvier, 17th, Matthias Taub, 18th was the best he could do. I don't think he was terribly happy with the result. Chris Johans, 19th, and Zach Duff, despite a couple of very poorly gone pit stops, set fastest lap of the race and came home in 20th place. He's still under investigation for that incident involving Tony Durbin. However, I think they're not going to hand any kind of penalty, at least I hope not, because I think it was pretty obvious Durbin just moved over on him. Predictably, Leonid Roderick leads the championship after Sweden. Adrian Devereaux 2nd, 3 points back. Alexis Rainsford in 3rd will not run the round of Germany. She will be qualifying for the Indy 500. Packer Carroll will make his Volpe debut there. Tom Delgado, 4th in the championship. He failed to finish. Actually, he failed to even finish the first lap after being caught in that huge schmozzle on the first lap, causing a suspension failure on his Nemoto. Seeing as Nemoto has had a very good record in Germany, not just in Master Cup racing, in all forms of motorsport, I wouldn't count Tom Delgado out for more points. I'm pretty sure Avery Holtzman will also be fired up for a good run in Germany. That's his manufacturer's home race. Kurt Pliskin in 6th in the championship, despite crashing on the first lap, probably causing it. Yumino Tenchi nearly won the round of Germany last year. Mike Whitmore crashed out in the first lap as well. He was in fairly good spirits and called that just a racing incident with Talonen. Solid efforts by Power Steering Incorporated's second driver, Marcus Leonard, and Charlie Waters continues to impress in 10th place. Arto Kekkonen jumps up to 11th in the championship despite being kind of nowhere the first few races. Chris Johans, kind of where we expected Tremwell to be, 12th and 14th with his teammate Scott Stoidler. Zelda Ashby leads the Juno Brigade at 13th. The two Bill Barclay cars are doing a wonderful job, 15th and 16th. Michael Sykes and Gaspar de Souza, and Zach Duff, no luck for him at all this year, sees him tied with de Souza for 16th in the championship. Franz Redlich, also fairly kind of a hard luck driver this season, despite having the very potent Gessler MTR 94 at his disposal. Woody Watts in the Bolden, 19th in championship despite a penalty, and Scott Bates in 20th in the EFR Journey LSX. Pretty sure we'll be seeing more from him in the future as soon as he gets to grips with this year's car. And here's how the Independence Trophy looks leaving Sweden. Nils Talonen adds himself to the bottom of the list. He crashed out on the first lap. Morgan Hamburg also adds himself in. He did not have a very good showing here. He's tied with his teammate Craig Yonser, and of course Mika Turvo with another fairly nondescript race. Finished a lap down. 78 points in 2 races is not exactly what he's looking for an Independence Trophy bid. As a side note, Palmer Styles, driver of car number 21, second in the Independence Trophy, was injured in a TM Lights East Series race. While I haven't gotten details of those injuries yet, if a sub-driver steps into that 21 car, that sub-driver's points total in the Independence Trophy will be added to Palmer Styles' Independence Trophy total. Meaning the points scored by both drivers will count towards the same car, because the Independence Trophy revolves more around the total points scored by all drivers in the same car. However, that provision in the rules has not yet been exercised by any team running for the Independence Trophy so far.